Well, here we are, stormbound in Sweden. I've been sailing here for a month now, and we've had nothing but wonderful weather. We had a few headwinds to start off with, which was a bit demoralising, but for the last 10 days we've just been sailing day after sunlit day with fair winds and flat water inside the islands. It has been absolutely gorgeous. But today, real life descended big time, and around 2 o'clock this morning it started to blow, and it was blowing like the clappers by 7 o'clock, pouring with rain, and well, a bit like the English Channel really. And I decided I'd get up, and before I made the tea I'd light the stove. So that's what I've done, and here it is, my little solid fuel stove. I thought I'd like to share this with you really. When I bought this boat, she didn't have a stove at all. She had two great big air conditioning units, and one of them was right here. I threw that out. I tried to sell the air conditioning on eBay, but nobody wanted it because it was 110 volt. Lots of people in America did, but the freight was hopeless, so that was no good. So forget that. Chuck it in the skip and find young Simon at Universal Boatyard, who made me this lovely fireplace. And he did such a good job, you can't tell that it's not been there ever since the boat was built. It's just great, it's as it should be. All my boats have had solid fuel stoves. I got them with the first boat I ever had, and after that I've always specified them because I just don't think you can beat it. A stove like this, it's a top loader. If we shut it up, load it from the top, you can burn that at sea, no problem at all. It's absolutely safe, and it keeps you warm and dry. It's not draining your batteries, it's not using your valuable diesel. You can take as much coal as you can stash around the boat, and I've got masses on here. I just tuck it away in all sorts of places. I can even use it to trim the ship if I want. But it means that you're always going to be warm and dry, and that you've got no hassle. To start it up, I generally chuck in a few bits of driftwood that I just find lying around on the beach, light that up, gets lovely and hot, then chuck in these magical chaps. Here you are, available from most garages around the United Kingdom. I get them from a bloke on the A36 near me, and he's got a better price than most people. So I buy them and I put them in nice little plastic bags that I buy from the hardware store for £1, zip them up, and then it's clean, all sealed up, and it's stowed wherever I want to put it on the boat, wherever the weight wants to be. It's perfect. I've burnt stoves like this all the way across the North Atlantic on 2 occasions. One time we went up to Greenland and we had it burning the whole way. It made life tolerable, without that it would have been awful down here. I'm amazed really sometimes when I look at sea schools that are running courses in the winter with no cabin heating. What's that about? Are people intended to suffer? Not at all. Just get yourself one of these, and this is a fiberglass boat, guys. This is not a traditional gaff cutter that you can chop stuff around and put a stove in, make a hole in the deck and bung a chimney through. Not a bit of it. This is a modern fiberglass yacht. A few modifications and in it went. The chimney, which is a bit of a work of art, as you see, I rather like this. I like the way it's coloured itself here. A bit like the exhaust pipes on my old motorbikes used to be. And when you knew you'd been running hot, you had this wonderful colour, and that goes up, it goes through the deck, it's insulated where it goes through the deck, and it comes out in a Dorade box in the chimney that I had made last winter, and it's a lovely chimney. It's working well, it's drawing beautifully in this breeze, and the chimney is tucked away under a granny bar outside. You'll see it on one of my other videos, one that I made in the shed in Denmark last winter. Having heat in the cabin is a great thing, and having it going on all the time without whirring machines and noise that's disturbing the anchorage. Look at this on the table here. We've got the dough rising for this morning's bread baking. My wife's been, Roz has been kneading the dough this morning while I was writing my piece for Classic Boat about, I can't even remember what it's about now, but it was a grand piece. But Roz was kneading the dough, and that's rising, and the heat and the lovely dry air is just helping it. And we'll have 2 grand loaves for lunch, which will happen later on this morning. Absolutely lovely to see these real things going on a boat. Here's another benefit of having a solid fuel stove. You've got your coal, so what do you do with it? Well, I've explained what we do with it, but in the old days it wasn't quite like that. And when we had the great big pilot cutter, 35 tons a boat, if you put half a ton of coal in, it didn't really make much difference. And when we went to Greenland in her, and Iceland and Newfoundland, we put half a ton of coal under the cockpit And we just brought it out when we needed it. It was in bags, but it made a bit of a mess, to be honest, and it was a bit of a job cleaning up afterwards. But when we got back to Britain, we arrived in Yarmouth, Isle of Wight, where we cleared customs. And the customs people came down from Cowes, and they didn't like the look of us. They thought we were a bunch of hippies, I think. And they sent the black gang down to rummage the ship. And the chief of the black gang was a lady, and she had a lovely white blouse on and smart clothes and a little epaulets. And she had the dog, and she had a couple of lackeys who came with her, and she sent the dog round the ship looking for the drugs, which of course we don't carry drugs. Just the very idea of it is nonsense to me. Why would you do that and risk losing your ship, even if you use the stuff, which we never have? So the dog went under the cockpit, and it came out, and its paws were all black from the thing, and she asked what it found. It jumped up, and she got all black all over her white blouse. I felt quite sorry for her, really, but her morale seemed to collapse after that, and the whole bunch of them left, having found nothing. So that was that. So there you are, you see. There's all sorts of spin-off benefits that you're not expecting. Get yourself a solid fuel stove, sort out your life, and have warm, dry, thick heat whenever you want it.